Hello! We are back and about to hop in with our first adventure of the evening called Coastwatch. Before we do, as always, we are going to introduce our heroes, though, so let's get right into it. First up, we have returning now Tinny Fates, the Junkforged Paladin. Tinny, hello. Tinny, how have you been? It's been a little while since we've seen you out adventuring.
Doing well.
Tinny, remind us again, because it's been a while. You are a Junkforged, which means that you were created. You are kind of not a living creature, as many would often think.
Ding ding.
Would you say that you are now, Tinny? Are you completely animatronic? Are you entirely metal in the way that you're forged, or are you like a soul that is kind of inhabiting the armor or the body that you have?
Option 1.
Option 1. So you are entirely created. And who was your creator again? It was another of the adventurers in this party, if I remember correctly.
I believe it was me.
Yes. You were created, of course, by Professor Dingleheimmel, a trigonome wizard. And since we've brought up Professor Dingleheimmel, Tinny, it's good to see you back tonight. Let's just hop right on over to you, Professor Dingleheimmel. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
What's new? What have you been working on, Professor Dingleheimmel? Any new inventions? Any crazy
Working
contraptions?
on lots of new projects. I believe some living doll wanted me to make some giant suit.
Wanted you to put together a big suit of armor? It wouldn't happen to be
like a mechanical suit.
Oh no, perhaps the scraps of a recently obtained boss's armor?
I don't know, but I will make do with what is given to me.
Fair enough, Professor Dingleheimmel, fair enough. I imagine there's a lot you can do with such intricate technology there.
With my scientific knowledge, anything is possible.
Indeed. Hopefully, even today's adventure is possible. As Professor Dingleheimmel, I don't know how much I guess science always helps. I was going to say I don't know how much science will help you today, but science can always help.
I'm sure it will.
Very good. Welcome back, Professor. And next up, we have returning Lana Coheir. Lana, hello.
Hello.
Lana, how are you today?
I am currently being tormented by songs about ducks.
Songs about
Don't
ducks?
ask. Songs about ducks.
Okay, you've asked me not to ask, but I need to know. I have to ask. What is this song about ducks that you are tormented by?
Some new son has gotten infatuated.
That's very strange. I guess
the temple keepers have been teaching him new songs or something, and one of them taught him some songs about ducks, and that's all he ever.
I'm sorry that you have this song that seems to be plaguing you, stuck in your head all the time, Lana. Are you at least excited about the Liberation Day festivities?
It gets me out of the house.
That's good. That's good. Well, Lana, welcome back. Good to see you again. And last but not least, we have a brand new adventure, I believe, in the land of DnDTime. We have Navera. Did I say your name right, Navera?
Yes, you did.
Navera, would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself?
There's not much to my tale. I was born and raised in an elvish village, and everything was okay until the Fae appeared. They stole my people, and I'm here to hunt them down.
Navera, you seem to have some anger. I mean, I imagine it's certainly justified, as it sounds like you said the Fae stole your people. Your entire people? Your whole town?
My village, my entire town. Just
the buildings?
The building, it was as if it had never appeared. It was as if it had never existed in the first place.
Navera, that's a really sad story. I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, I hope that adventuring here amongst Bartholomew's troop will give you some opportunities, maybe to find some leads and track down your lost village.
Hence why I joined. I will find them. and I will slaughter any Fae in my way.
And Navera, what skill do you sort of bring to the table as an adventurer in this regard?
I was raised from a young age to handle the bow and commune with the wilds.
Well, I imagine that there could be no one better suited to tracking down the Fae than to someone so familiar with the wilderness. So I wish you only the best of luck on your quest and today's adventure, which is you're getting the impression right off the bat that this is probably not going to help you track down the Fae, what you've been tasked to do today. As the four of you have gotten possibly the best assignment that anyone has ever gotten from Bartholomew's shop, you've just been tasked with supplementing the Crimson Coastwatch here on the Liberation Day Festival along the beachside at the Crimson Coast. It is a dream Bartholomew's shop gig. Really what they want you to do is just act as lifeguards on the beach and make sure that people are safe, take part in the festivities if you wish, but basically to make sure that people on the beach are safe during this very big party that's happening today, kind of along the Crimson Coast. And certainly a change of pace, I imagine, from a lot of your past adventures. And where we begin, you actually find yourselves kind of standing here on the Crimson Coast. Bartholomew has supplied each of you with a very quick kind of like one-day temporary glamour. He said you could just kind of throw it on your armor if you wanted. It kind of expires at the end of the day, but it'll basically just make your armor green and kind of match the uniform of the Crimson Coast Guard. And yeah, you're here at the beach and set up to kind of regulate and make sure everyone stays safe. You are to meet up with the current on-duty member of the Coastwatch here on the beach and kind of change shifts. So where we begin, all of you are kind of en route walking over. You can see there's a little big tower with a kind of a single chair on it, and you can see someone dressed in the bright green of the Coastwatch uniform, wearing kind of bright green shorts, not wearing a shirt at the moment as it's blazing hot. You can see a young man kind of sitting there, just looking out over, presumably waiting for you guys to show up to take over his shift. Yeah, you guys are walking up to him now. What would you all like to do?
Obviously, greet him. Greetings.
Very well. You kind of call out greetings, and he kind of turns and looks down at you. He's wearing sunglasses at the moment. When he looks back at you, kind of takes the sunglasses off. And for any one of you who have met him before, you recognize Victorious of the Academy of Light is currently on lifeguard duty. He looks up and goes, "Oh, hey dudes, what's going on? Are you guys like my replacements for today? I heard Uncle B was going to be kind of sending down some extra help because the beach is absolutely slammed today."
I guess that's the case.
This is humiliating. We could be doing so much more with our time.
Oh no, there's like so much to do right here. There's like over there, there's grills and people are like cooking all kinds of food. I know there's some people that are like making sandcastles and stuff. Big fireworks display tonight. That's going to be absolutely righteous. And then, well, there's always the surf, which I might go do a little surfing myself now that I'm off shift. So don't worry about it, man. You're going to have tons to do. It's a great day for it.
Navera grits her teeth.
And he kind of looks down at you. Hey, turn that frown upside down. One of the most important things about being part of Coastwatch is, well, positive attitude. You got to make the people feel safe and happy. And he kind of smiles again, hops down off of his little chair on the beach. You guys got any questions? Basically, just until sundown, I'm going to need you guys to take over. Then there should be a third shift at the top and end.
Seems fair enough.
No
All right.
questions.
In that case, I'm just going to get right on the way.
Just make sure people don't drown. Got it.
Yeah, make sure people don't drown. I mean, anything else you can do to help, too. Make sure people don't get injured on the beach as well. All right, I'll catch you all later. He looks at all and goes, "Aloha." It's a new word I picked up. And he begins kind of like tramping off, and the beach is yours. for starters, how are you guys dressed? How did you come dressed for the beach? Because you did kind of know in advance that this was the area that you're coming for. Are you all just in your regular battle regalia, or did you dress differently for the occasion?
Normally I'd be in a scientific uniform, but I just decided on a nice swimsuit.
Ah, nice. Professor Dingleheimel's rocking the swimsuit. What else?
Tinny face probably just in just as normal stuff that he's usually in.
Yeah, I mean, Tinny's clothing or probably Tinny's body anyway.
Yeah.
As you are made of pieces from the junkyard or the dump, as it were. So,
are you sure you're not gonna rust out here?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that seawater's pretty rough.
Tinny like kind of looks to Lana, just like points to the beach. It's just like he's like just like in the motion, he's staying right on the ground.
Navera's just dressed in casual clothing because she knew that this wasn't going to be a combat mission.
All right, yeah, just the street clothes today. All right, yeah. And you guys just begin your watch. Is there anything that you guys would like to do as you're just getting into position, or are you all just gonna kind of take a post and just start sitting and waiting?
Yeah, Navera takes a post and
I'm
sits and waits.
All right.
While these three sit and watch, I'm gonna be doing this.
Oh no.
As a ritual, and of course, for the occasion, it's gonna be a seagull.
Absolutely. All right. You watch as Professor Dingleheimmel gets in another one of the lifeguard posts and begins just kind of working casually. Well, occasionally still looking around, but mostly working, putting together this mechanical seagull that then I assume when it's complete just kind of flaps up on your shoulders. And it's pretty casual at first. I mean, you do have time to go through and completely cast the spell, even though it casts an hour, because you got kind of the whole afternoon before you. But the rest of you, as you're all kind of like looking out, is there anything else that anyone would like to do as you're just going through this kind of first chunk of time? I know that you said, Barry, you're just kind of looking out and keeping a vigilant eye.
Tinny face would probably be like walking along the beach, looking out for make sure that no one's getting hurt and like things are properly maintained with.
All right, yeah, just kind of walking the perimeter. Lana?
I'm pretty much just strolling the beach myself.
All right, the three of you then, I would like you all to make me perception checks as you're just kind of hanging out and keeping a watch.
Well then.
Oh dear.
Tinny, you got this.
Yeah. You've been
How
just.
can I be so bad at this?
Yeah, the two of you are just kind of like looking out in the ocean, and the ocean is relatively calm right now. There's not a lot of people swimming because, for the most part, people have congregated along the kind of south side of in the southern side of the beach, and are all watching what appears to be like a surfing contest that's going on. The waves today are pretty big, and as people are going through, they're all just enjoying watching these people surf. So there's not a lot of people in the ocean just swimming because of the size of the waves. So you're okay-ish on that front. But as Tinny Fates, you've been kind of like doing more of a patrol down the beach. You've been noticing, you kind of catch something that looks like a commotion coming over. There's a whole bunch of like food vendors and food stalls, and a couple of people kind of like, you hear some screams that don't sound like people laughing and splashing water on each other. You hear a couple screams that sound like real sort of, distress coming from that area.
He would head over there post haste while make sure he doesn't run into anyone.
All right, are you gonna kind of notify the rest of the group?
Like I would say, like a little siren popped out of the top of his head.
Yeah, all right, so you guys see Tinny Fates go into what looks like some kind of strange alert mode. Of course, this isn't strange to you, Professor Dingleheimmel. You put that siren in, but yeah, you see Tinny Fates go into an alert mode. And do all of you kind of run over and get over with Tinny Fates?
Yeah, and Navera lets out some sort of groan of annoyance and makes her way over.
All right. Yeah, and you guys begin kind of moving dashing across the beach, and a very sort of strange thing occurs as you do. It almost feels like as you run across the beach, you're moving in slow motion, but you're not entirely sure why that's happening, and the feeling subsides almost instantly as you reach your destination. And you can see a few people running away. One person is on the ground, kind of like rolling back and forth, trying to, it looks like they're executing a stop, drop, and roll, and you can see some smoke kind of coming off their clothes, and places where their clothes are on a little bit of fire. Additionally, you can see there's a whole kind of row of grills that are set up here, where it looks like this is just kind of like an outdoor area where they're just cooking up and selling hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that. But one of the grills is extremely on fire at the moment. It's just kind of like a tower of flame that's moving up, and whatever chef is working at it, you see he kind of goes over and throws a bucket of water at it. This is happening right as you're arriving, and as the water hits the flames kind of douse for a moment, but then relight even larger than before, and you can almost see kind of two eyes coming out of them, and you hear kind of coming from the crackling flame what sounds like this kind of very high-pitched giggle, and the people in the area are all kind of like freaking out, and some of them watching, others running away. Would you guys like to roll for initiative in this moment?
And I thought today would be boring.
All right, cool. Could I ask a question? Could I have done divine sense prior to that?
As you were running up, yeah, I think you absolutely can do divine sense as you're running up.
All right, I would do that then.
It's just celestials, fiends, and undead, correct?
Yeah.
It is none of those things that appear to be affecting you in this moment. All right. In that case, the first thing to act is this fire that's on top of the grill. And as this happens, the fire kind of, you see this fire that's kind of towering up, and it lifts up a little bit, and you can see almost like tiny little legs pop out of it, and it jumps off of the grill and over onto another grill, which ignites in kind of big flames as well, and you see all the kind of like burgers and hot dogs that are being cooked on it immediately kind of go up in flames and are just kind of left charred. It jumps to another grill and does the same thing on that one, and that's all it's doing on its turn right now. The person that's manning this grill is kind of like now kind of shocked and leaning back, and he turns around to yell at someone else who is in the space. You hear him kind of call out, "This is yours! Get it under control now!" And he kind of points over at what appears to be a well lab-coated individual. You recognize a fellow scientist, Professor Dingleheimmel. That's going to bring us next in initiative as this thing's kind of continuing to sow chaos. That's going to bring us to Navera. What would you like to do?
Navera takes one look at the moving flame, then glances towards her bow and arrow, and how ineffective it would be, and instead heads over towards that scientist. How do we stop this? What is it?
He kind of goes, put simply, it's a spark elemental. I put it together as, well, you see the fireworks in this region are always so
I don't
flashy,
care.
so...
Just tell me how to stop it.
And that's about all you have time for on your turn as we move on to Lana. What do you want to do, Lana?
About how far away is it?
It's within walking distance. You can get to it in one round. These grills are all in the same area, 10, 15 feet.
All right. I think I will. I think I'll just go up there and take a swing at it with my and use my bonus action to activate raid.
Oh, okay. You're gonna go into rage, and you're gonna just swing at it with your axe. Go ahead.
Yay, nay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that go through. Go ahead and roll damage. That absolutely hits. 6 points of damage. All right, you slice into this creature, and it is living flame, so it doesn't seem like, as the axe kind of cuts through, it doesn't seem to be as effective as it would be on, say, a person, but also a little bit of the fire dissipates. You definitely deal some damage, like its resistance to kind of physical attacks like this. That gonna be all for your turn, Lana?
Yep, that's gonna be all.
All right, Dingleheimmel, what do you want to do?
Yes. The spark elemental. I've seen one of these before, but I know just how to deal with it. And then I send the seagull pet at the spark elemental and
Shocking grasp. All right, go ahead and roll damage on that. 1 point of lightning damage. The seagull flies down in, and you watch as it kind of emanates electricity, and the flame kind of scatters just the slightest of bits. But for the most part, it's relatively again unaffected by the strike. You think the seagull just didn't get a good grasp. It's still a little faulty, brand new seagull and all. Yeah, and you hit it for another 1 damage. Anything else on your turn, Professor?
unfortunately, no.
In that case, Tinny, what do you want to do?
All right, question. Are these like grills that have like lids up and everything?
Yeah, they have lids. Most of them are open at the moment because they're all kind of grilling, and some of them are flat tops. The one that this creature's on right now has lid.
All right, so yeah, Tinny just going to use his action to just slam the lid over it.
All right, go ahead and make me an athletics check, and that's going to be contested by this thing's. Oh dear, contested by this thing's acrobatics, which is quick.
Hey.
You would have beaten it had you not rolled a critical failure. But in this instance, you go and slam the lid down, and the thing doesn't move that quickly out of the way. You kind of cut off, I think you sever its feet even with that, because it's just slamming a lid down. You can't mess it up too much. But the creature kind of gets off and onto the ground, and it's now kind of running around looking for more chaos to sow. And that's going to bring us around back to the top of the initiative, which is its turn. It's going to look up at you, Tinny, who just slammed the grill down on it, and looks up at you, and it jumps up, and it's going to, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as it goes to pass through you. A 12 is just barely going to succeed, so you'll take half of this damage. You'll take 5 points of fire damage as it goes and moves through you. You duck out of the way. You just feel kind of slightly singed, and you see now how those people over there were kind of getting burns on their clothes from the strange creature. More people are getting worried and backing off now, and it kind of goes up and jumps onto another grill and continues to kind of sow chaos. But that is actually going to provoke an opportunity attack from both you, Tinny, and you, Lana, who are there right next to it at the grill. If you wish to make one.
Yeah, I guess I'll make one.
Of course. That's absolutely going to hit. And an 11 is going to just miss, unfortunately. So your great axe swings a little wide, it darts out of the way, but the Warhammer, it's going to hit it for just a couple of bludgeoning damage. As again, it seems resistance, but it's starting to be put out, and that's going to bring us back around to your turn in this instance, Navera. You're still kind of talking to this professor.
Yes, though at this point she's migrated to shaking him.
All right, yeah.
Tell me!
Whoa! You should douse it with water. If you can hit it with it, it should completely take it out instantly. It's still just fire at the end of the day.
Okay, she relays that information to the rest of the party, like, hit it with some water!
You can, also you can still take an action if you want to.
Just, I suppose, draw her bow and try to shoot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, okay, that is... Yep.
Unfortunately, a 9's gonna miss. You fire the arrow into it, and as it hits, it just kind of... The arrow just kind of fizzles and burns up inside of the creature's body.
Saw that coming.
As it cackles a bit. You think it could have been more effective if you'd hit a kind of a bitter spot on its form, one of the more solid points, but... that's probably gonna do it for you. Anything else? Bonus action?
No, that's about it. Thanks.
All right. In that case, that's going to bring us back around to Lana. What do you want to do? Creature's starting to dwindle. You just also got told that it should be able to be doused with water if you can hit it.
I don't see any water nearby, but...
There's the ocean.
Is...
Yeah, you're at the beach.
Yeah, I know, but is it like right on the ocean?
All these girls? Yeah, you're all along kind of like the boardwalk, essentially. So you're always within, like, you know...
I could
20,
essentially push the grill off into the wall.
Oh, if you wanted to do that, I wasn't even thinking that, but that'd be an interesting move. Yeah, you'd have to, I think you'd have to make an athletics check to kind of get it all the way to the ocean in one round while the creature's still on it. But you could try and do that. That'd be cool.
Actually, I think I'll use my hammering horn.
All right, go ahead and you're just making an attack. Is that what? Oh, yes. All right, 10 is unfortunately going to miss. Also, when you make an unarmed strike against this creature, you do take 2 points of fire damage. So you take 2 damage as you go and kind of ring your horns into it. They don't quite connect on anything corporeal, and you kind of suffer a slight burn, and the outside of your horns are just ever so slightly charred. As we move next to Dingleheimmel.
You little scoundrel! I know just how to deal with a magical creature like you. Eat Hextech missiles!
Oof. Yeah, 3 magic missiles fly out and explode into the creature, which is kind of, it's losing more and more control over its corporeal form with each moment. It's dwindled now from what was like before just a roaring bonfire to what looks like a small campfire, as this creature is also not laughing as much as it was initially. It looks like it's pretty near defeat. Anything else on your turn, Dingleheimmel?
Unfortunately, no.
Tinny.
All right, so is there any like the removable tops for the grills nearby?
There is a removable top. I mean, not like off of the grill. They're all kind of connected to each grill.
Okay. Is there like
you could try and rip one off if you wanted.
All right. The only other question, I guess, the only other suggestion I would use is like, is there anything that can actually hold the creature in it? It's not a grill. Maybe like a bucket or something nearby.
Yeah, there was the bucket with the guy who tried to throw water on it before, but sort of missed.
All right, so
you can just grab that bucket from that dude.
Yeah, Tinny will just grab that bucket and attempt to like swoop the creature in it and just throw it into the ocean.
All right, go ahead and make me an athletics check. You won't take the damage because you're using this bucket to kind of push it. All right, well, it's going to be contested at least, since this is essentially you're making a grapple against it, and this bucket's letting you do it. That's a D20. Oh, hey, it rolled that again. In that case, you go to scoop it up into the bucket, and then it's a small creature at this point, so you can just run up with it, and then you just take that bucket and toss it into the ocean. And as you do so, you just hear kind of a sizzling sound kind of coming out of it, and then some like steam and bubbles emerge from underneath it, and then the bucket just appears to be empty. As you have now taken down this strange spark elemental, and the scientist goes, "Oh, thank God! I was getting very worried. He looks over to the kind of grill master. I have to say, I am deeply, deeply, deeply sorry for that. I only wish to bring the brightest and the most fantastical of fireworks displays. It should be the highlight of the festivities today. It's just, well, sometimes, in order to achieve great things in any field, you have to make a few errors here and there. What are you guys doing as he's kind of over there trying to like justify himself to this chef?
Tinny's a little alarmed. Just like kind of goes back into his head, and he just decides to like go back on patrol.
All right, you just go back to keeping things.
Navera
I'm gonna apologize to the chef because, I'm deeply sorry, sir, but everything's under control now.
And I'm just going to try to put out some of the fires still going out of control in the grills.
Yeah, a lot of those fires after the creature was kind of moved away from them. The creature was the only one that was kind of like permanently aflame. A lot of food got ruined, and you go around and look at the people that had gotten like burns and things like that, and no one was injured too badly. It looks like in the entire affair. A few ruined pieces of clothing, but nothing. No first, no second degree burns. Everything's okay.
Navera's got her arms crossed and is stalking up to the scientist, basically trying to put him down. Like, next time you want to stand out, don't.
And as you say that, he just kind of like, you see, he's been kind of like trying to sell himself to this cook, and then he just kind of, I'm sorry. I'll be more careful next time. He kind of puts his head down, a little bit ashamed.
I feel so bad.
The cook looks over at you and just goes, hey, listen, thank you so much for what you did back there. Man, a lot of people could have gotten hurt. Hey, how about a dog on the house, huh? Dog? He looks over past. Hey, you robot, you eat?
And Tinny just like shakes his head.
Well, not one for the robot, but rest of you want a hot dog? You want a hamburger? It's on.
Sure, I am starving.
Yeah, he makes you up each a dog, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good if you like hot dogs. He kind of looks and he goes, this is a special one here. This one's called the Super Schnurple. It's a very elaborate and very intricate combination of spices and ingredients. I think you're really going to enjoy it. He passes you each a hot dog. And Tinny, you're going back to your watch, right?
Pretty much, it's going back on patrol.
I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
All right, one moment.
You do not trip. You do not trip on this individual's head as you're walking, but you come very close. As almost immediately behind you as you're walking out of this place, there appears to be an individual that's buried all the way up to their neck in sand, such that only their head's kind of sticking out. And as you stop yourself right before them, you just see them kind of like angle as much as they can with their neck up in the sand and look up at you. And they just go, "Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I thought I was about to lose my head. A little bit of a tough spot here."
Yeah, Tinny kind of like tilts his head, like goes to the turn, like moves around where he actually be more face to face to the.
You getting down so you can be at eye level.
Kind of.
Yeah, you at least crouch, so he doesn't have to crane his neck quite so much. And he looks over at you. Yup. I'm sure my friends will be back anytime now. Just waiting for them to unbury me, Tide's coming in and all that soon, so hope they're quick.
Tinny, like the little terminal that makes up Tinny's head, like shows up a little picture, like having a shovel, like digging someone up.
I wouldn't want to trouble you. You don't have to. It is getting pretty close to high tide, though. And yeah, the tide is receding. You imagine this person is probably going to drown in like an hour if they are not unburied.
Tinny will attempt to dig him out.
Are you sure? You really don't have to. I'm kind of big. It might take a while.
Tinny just has like a big thumbs up. He's like, no worries.
All right. You begin kind of digging, and almost immediately as you dig, unburying the head and starting to get the neck free in hopes that he'll be able to start helping you soon. And as you begin digging down, you go past his neck, and his neck just seems to be incredibly long. Like, you start digging, and you've uncovered about a foot of neck, and there doesn't appear to be any in sight in the first couple instants of you digging. Like I said, I'm pretty big. My ancestors were giraffes.
Oh
God.
yeah. Let's see. Let me. Oh, so yeah. At this point, Tinny will pretty much rip off 2 of his pauldrons and sort of like use them to scoop through more to get more dirt.
All right, what are the rest of you guys doing? You now see, you see Tinny all of a sudden was, just seeming to, be helping someone on the beach, and then just kick into a sudden overdrive. What are you all up to?
I use the seagull to patrol the beach with a higher viewpoint, and I use the spell to see into its senses.
All right.
Navera points towards Tinny and then asks Dingleheimmel, "Your machine, what's it doing?"
He appears to be digging.
That's a succinct answer.
Okay then. She doesn't have much more to add to that, so she just wanders over to see what's going on there.
All right. You take in the situation, and as you get closer, this strange man buried in the sand looks up at you. Oh, hello there.
Does she recognize his species or some such?
Go ahead and make a nature check.
Sure. Nature.
Giraffe man.
As Tinny's now kind of starting to get deeper and deeper into the neck, and you're on about 2 feet of neck at this point, you're starting to notice some coloration and kind of hair around the neck. That is very indicative of a giraffe. This appears to be a giraffe-tar. Like a centaur, but a giraffe instead of a horse.
How did you get buried in the first? You're a very large species.
My friends did it. They thought it would be funny. It took a long time. We've been here most of the day at the festival, and then I don't know, maybe they forgot.
Some friends, and she gets on her knees to try and help dig them out.
All right.
Can I make a statement that Tinny is whatever dirt is Tinny's digging out, he's kind of piled up to the side against the tide, so it won't really overflow when it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. You are basically you want to build a barricade against the incoming tide to protect this lad. I like it.
Yeah.
Hold the line.
I'd like you to make me, in that case, a. Well, for starters, I need you both to make me. Oh, actually, before I even get into that, Lana, what are you doing? Are you hopping in on this, or are you doing something else?
I came over just hearing all the noise.
Yeah, the racket.
Yeah, going in overdrive over here. You can hear servos going all the way across the beach.
All right. In that case, you begin. You begin kind of. Are you gonna dig with them, or are you just gonna kind of walk, or do you have some other plan?
I come over seeing what's the commotion about.
Okay. Yeah, this guy looks up at you and he goes, "Oh, hi, you're another one of the Coast Watch, right? Or the Watch Guard? The Coast Watchers? Coast Watch?"
Yes. What's going on?
You guys are all so helpful. You're just so kind. I can't believe. And at this point, they've undug about 4 feet of this dude's neck that transitions into a giraffe neck that you're just seeing sticking out of the sand below. And the tide is coming in, and you see this precarious situation. And now, anyone who's digging, I need you to make me a strength check to see the effectiveness of your digging.
Just a flat strength check.
This is, I think, raw strength, just power.
Power.
All right, yeah, you guys are. You guys
do
are
I need
doing
to get
it
in
all
on
right.
this too?
If you want to, you can.
Hey.
All right, yeah, you guys have been digging for a while, and you see this huge Minotaur in the form of Lana come over and begin just heaving sand by the bucket lids, matching both of you individually, and yeah, you guys are really starting to get in some work on this person, and you've now gotten about 7 feet of this person's neck, and you're kind of reaching the base and the giraffe part, and the tide's getting close though. And it looks like it's going to be kind of coming in soon. This has been happening for a while. Meanwhile, Professor Dingleheimmel, you've been flying your bird around. I'd like you to make me a perception check. Okay, yeah. As you're watching with your bird, you see a person. You see what looks like a kite. Someone was flying kites, or it looks like there's a few people with kites kind of lined up along the beach. And one of those kites is kind of like drifting away into the distance, where it looks like either they lost hold of it or it's just, floating away. And you're watching this for a time, and then all of a sudden, you just kind of catch out of the corner of your eye just a slight flash of movement, and then another kite begins drifting up into the sky, and these kids that are flying these kites look pretty sad as they lose their kites. This is from your bird's eye view.
Can I use the bird's mouth to grab onto the strings of the kites so they don't fly away?
Absolutely. The bird's kind of going to be moving outside of your kind of full control range, I think, soon, as the kites are throwing off in the wind. Because there is like a range on that, isn't there? It's like 500 feet or something that you can telepathy.
Yeah, but I'll probably be running along.
Oh yeah, well, because they're kind of flying out to ocean a bit, so you'll lose it eventually. But you can definitely have the bird make a couple of sleight of hand checks. You have time for 2 to see if you're able to get both of these, or if you can just get one or neither. That's 1. Oh, but the second one gets away. The bird kind of goes and grasps onto the first kite, and the second one flies around, and the seagull's kind of just moving to the outside of your kind of range with it, and it goes to grasp the other one with its beak, and it does, but it loses the first one in the process. But you manage to salvage one of these kids' kites. And meanwhile, Tinny, I would like you to roll me what check. Do you have any tools and construction in building yourself this wall this basically, what's the word for something that's a tide wall? It might just be called a tide wall.
Barricade?
Barricade. There's a specific word I'm looking for that I'm not pulling, but to build this barricade.
A levy?
Levy might be what I'm looking for, yeah.
Well, let's see. The tools I have is Smith's tools and Tinker's tools.
I don't know if either of those apply, but I'll let you use your Smith's tools proficiency. You know how to build things. You understand the rudiments of construction. So I'll let you make this check with proficiency, and then intelligence.
Okay. Actually, if possible, could I use Tinker's tools since it deals with mundane things? And I would just say that, like, Tinny's probably seeing the tide coming in. He's taking pieces of junk off himself.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, absolutely. You can use your Tinker's tools.
All right, so I guess I'll be using dexterity for that. So
sure.
Such bad.
Yeah. This wall is not. You build something, and then the tide kind of comes in, and the minute the first big wave hits it, it kind of begins to kind of overflow, and you see this guy goes, oh no, as water starts to pour in. You guys are getting close to having him completely unburied, but now the big vertical hole is starting to get filled up with water as he's having trouble. You're at the bottom now. Lana, you've been the one that's been really digging the hardest here, and you're basically down in the pit next to trying to excavate the giraffe half of the body. Yeah, you're down there and you feel some water kind of slosh in around your feet. What do you guys all do as it's getting near to crunch time here?
All right, so Tinny will now just really focus on just building the dam, or just a barricade to prevent the tide coming in.
All right, you're already in kind of a tough situation. The tide's coming in more and more, so I'll let you make another check, but I think you have disadvantage this time since you've already kind of lost ground. You didn't have that good starting position to work with.
All right,
but you can try. Let's see if it'll buy you any time.
About how much is left of the body that's still?
The body's kind of almost clear. You're like down to just getting out the legs now, and the body's also also trying to like move and untangle themselves, but their legs are very skinny and having a hard time kind of getting out. Tin, you want to make me that Tinker's Tools check? 12. All right, yeah, you're able to like. You learn from your mistakes, you erect a quick barricade, you buy a little bit of extra time. You guys have essentially, an extra round by my counting in order to kind of succeed, an extra round of checks here. But yeah, Lana, you're close. Do you have something you want to do down there? Also, I know you haven't taken an action in a little bit. Navera, if you have something you want to do as well.
Navera calls down to Lana, see if you can't just pull him out now.
Alrighty.
You're just gonna try and just drag this huge giraffe centaur up out of the sand.
Why not?
All right. Navera, do you have some way you can help, or are you trying to assist him in this endeavor in some way?
She is a very light and slight elf. There's the most she could do is maybe put down her bow in order to help them out of the pit.
Fair enough. In that case, yeah, I think I'll still give you advantage, Lana, because he's also trying to help himself out. Like, he's trying to move his legs, so he's giving you some assistance as well. In addition to Navera.
Strength check?
Adding what little you can. Yeah, strength check with advantage.
There we go.
It actually should have been a check, not a save, so it's 2 lower, but a 17 is still very good. And you reach down and kind of lift under the central form, and you just see this Minotaur once again, an impressive feat of strength, just pull upward. And some of the sand that you guys have been digging out, you kind of had to dig basically a tunnel in underneath the sand to get them out. And the sand begins to like collapse down on top as they get out. But they are free, and now there's just a big vertical pit. And he kind of looks around that this giraffe is kind of sticking its head just barely above the surface of. The giraffe tour looks around, and you see it's got 2 kind of like tiny arms at the bottom of its torso that it's kind of now waving up at you with as it goes up and goes, "Hey, thank you so much for getting me out. You guys don't have to like drag me out from here. I'll just wait for the water to fill in, and then I'll probably float up to the top."
I'm not sure that's how that works.
Me neither.
I think it will work.
You also believed that being buried in the sand near the ocean was a good idea.
Yeah, have you seen my friends yet?
If you mean other giraffe people, then no. You're the only one I've seen in quite a long time.
All right, well, I think it'll be fine, but if you want to help me out even more, you can. If you guys want to, like, do you guys stick with this guy and just get him all the way out of the hole?
At least make sure his head's above water level.
All right, yeah, you at least stick around to wait and see that his head's above water, and as the water starts to flow in from the tide, Tinny, your barricade lasts a good amount of time actually, but it eventually kind of tumbles down, and the water begins flowing in, and yeah, you see as it does, once it kind of gets up to his waist level, he kind of picks his legs up and he starts to float, and his head's now a good deal above water level. So it looks like he'll be able to get out in this way.
Giraffe people are buoyant. Okay, useful knowledge.
Very much so, actually. But thank you again so much. He seems very satisfied, and you've saved another individual. Professor Dingleheimmel, also when you're scouting, you get that kite back to that kid, and they're very appreciative. Their friend's a little bit jealous that this crazy mechanical seagull only got the one kite, unfortunately, but one kite is better than no kites. But you also detect, Professor Dingleheimmel, there are some people, there seems to be some kind of commotion over in the surfing contest. People are getting kind of like worked up, and there's no one even surfing anymore. They're all just kind of like standing and looking out to the ocean. Can't really tell exactly what's going on, but we see that.
I want to use my bird to have them fly over to investigate.
You kind of fly over, and the bird kind of skims low over the heads of people, and you're getting some sights and sounds. Like I said, everyone's just kind of like staring out in the ocean. The waves, the swells are pretty big, and you just are hearing some mumblings. Where did he go? And another voice, I don't think he's coming. Did he fall in? He's been down.
What are they looking at if I turn the
they're just looking blankly out into the ocean.
I'm going to have to send the seagull slightly to the ocean to see if there is someone there.
All right. You're kind of flying it around. I'd like you to go ahead and make me a perception check. 19. All right. In your scanning of the ocean, you can see a surfboard. You see a surfboard, but you don't see any person on it. But there's just a lone surfboard that's just kind of floating on top of the water, getting kind of moved up and down amongst the waves.
I use this information and I go to relay this to the other three which I'm assuming by the time they'd be done.
Yeah, this is the exact moment. You kind of come over here, I think, right as they are resolving to just kind of tie things up with this nice giraffe fella.
I tell them there appears to be someone missing underneath the waves.
Navera lets out like a sort of exasperated sigh and stands up and brushes the sand off her knees. All right, let's go help him out.
All right, you guys all gonna tramp us off across the beach?
Yep.
Pretty much. Teddy's like, keep an eye out for like an actual boat because they're not very because of the water.
The only thing out there is a surfboard.
You're looking around for a boat. Not a lot of people boating. It looks like the waves are too choppy, so most people didn't really bring any boats or anything. There's lots of surfboards around though. You can paddle out on one.
Leave it to me. I can swim.
But yeah, you guys get down to the edge of the beach, and as you're getting closer, you guys are kind of identified as Coastwatch. You run again in slow motion, and then an individual kind of comes up over to you. You see this dwarf wearing kind of a grass skirt who runs up, and she kind of says to you guys as you get closer, "Hello there! We might need your help. We had a surfer go out a little while ago. Huge swell. We thought he'd gotten lost in the tube. However, he seems to have disappeared underneath the tube. He didn't come back up. It's been about a minute now. We're getting a bit worried."
Don't worry, I've already figured that out from bird's eye perception. But we are on it.
We'll get out there and save him then.
Will do. And I rush into the water.
Are you just gonna swim?
No, I'm taking the surfboard because I'm not good.
I brought the surfboard in.
Yeah, Navera does the same. She follows along behind Lana.
You guys all paddling out. Tinny, you're there on the shore. Do you want to grab a board?
I'll try to like find the largest board there is and do so.
There are some boards that are big. There's none that's quite Tinny the robot big that would act as more of like but there are like a couple of like more paddly boards. They're a little bit wider, and they seem less for like surfing and more for just like kind of like leisurely, either like someone skimming along the coast or whatever. But it's more to your liking, I think, in this instance. And you begin moving out.
What about kayaks?
Kayaks, like I say, the ocean is choppy and there's not a lot of people that are out kind of kayaking.
Who takes a kayak to a beach?
You have not been to Australia then?
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see it. But yeah, you guys kind of get out there and you begin kind of searching the surf, and you, I think in this instance, you, Professor Dingleheimmel, who had the bird's eye view, you bring them basically over to the surfboard, and when you get out there, you don't see a person that's kind of under the water, but what you do see coming at you is a very, very large wave.
Navera's a bit busy realizing her mistake when she puts it together that she's never ridden on a surfboard before or even knows what it is.
And does not know how to surf.
No, not at all.
And this wave is coming in and it's starting to kind of crest. It looks like, I mean, in a lot of ways, if you're a surfer, this looks like the ideal dream wave. But if you're not a surfer, it looks like a big wall of water that's about to absolutely ruin all of your shops. What do you guys do?
Well, we have to stay in this position to find this guy. What can we do?
It's coming in. You got about a round of action. Are you guys just going to gear up, or do you have some other strategy?
Navera looks towards Lana because she said she knows what she's doing and is going to try and copy what she does.
All right, Lana, go ahead and make me an athletics or acrobatics. All of you can do that if you want to try and ride this wave.
I do have water. I do have water vehicle proficiency.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can use that. You can add your strength. If you don't have proficiency in athletics or acrobatics, you can add your proficiency because of your water vehicle proficiency. Absolutely.
Tinny,
Oh dear.
Tinny's pretty much afraid at the moment, so he's going to use a bonus action to bring in his weaponized bass drop.
What does that do?
And he's going to like just kind of like split the wave as much as he can.
I'm just gonna kind of smack into the wave.
Yeah, and just hope that the sound is enough to like split it apart where he won't have to go.
All right, you kind of get ready for this. You get ready for this thing. And what is everyone else doing? Do you want
I
to?
wiped out.
Oh, an 8. Okay.
What kind of save do I need?
You can make a strength or an acrobatics or athletics check, and if you don't have proficiency in either of those skills, you can still add your proficiency bonus from.
Okay.
20. All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Well-
your copy in Lana, your form is not as effective as Lana's. Professor Dingleheimmel, what are you doing?
I'm going to attempt to try to maneuver over and around this wave because I need to look for this man. This man is important.
All right, make me an acrobatics or athletics.
Oh dear.
8. All right.
Oh dear.
So, this
You got
wave
the same as me.
is getting closer and closer, and you all brace yourself. As it looms, the sky grows dark from being in kind of the curve of it, and you all start to lift up and around it. Tinny, you go and go ahead and make me an attack. Oh my god, a critical hit.
Very nice.
Considering the critical hit, does that also add a critical to the thunder damage?
Absolutely it does. I would like you to roll me that full damage.
Let me just do the Warhammer first and then the 46.
All right, so Tinny, you, here's what, oh my god. All right, Tinny, here's what happens. You lean back and you go to swing inwards and split the wave as it curls up around all of you. Lana, you get into a stance, a surfing stance on your board. You whip up and around and curve into the swell of it. You see your two allies, both of them, as the wave comes up. Professor Dingleheimmel and Professor Dingleheimmel and Navera, both of you almost immediately begin to fall and tumble. You manage to stay on your boards, but both of you are now essentially prone on your surfboards, just kind of holding on to the sides of them for dear life as you get whipped up and into the bowl of the wave. And Lana, you're the only one riding kind of efficiently. And Tinny, you go to smack through it. Also make me an acrobatics and an athletics check, Tinny.
Wait, both of them?
Or either one, whichever one you're better at. 21, all right. Tinny, you have this big board and kind of this nice position, so you're got a solid stance as you go in and swing your warhammer into it. But as you do so, you connect with something a lot more solid than the water that you were expecting. As you swing into the wave, you can see on the other side of it what appears to be a face. And a strange fish-like creature is getting ready to hop out of the wave at you. And you are looking now along the wave. This is kind of in like the Matrix-like slowed time dilation moment as you're in the middle of the swing. You look along the wave and you see a whole bunch of these fish people that are like riding inside of the wave, getting ready to attack your party. Your warhammer kind of swings in and connects, and you see that this person appears to be the captain of this squad. They look like to be like a squad leader. They have their whole elaborate garb on and everything. And as the hammer crashes into the wave, you take this Sahuagin captain out in a single hit, as you strike with the most brutal smite I've seen for a total of your
40
level.
damage.
For your most brutal I think I've seen for your level, for 40 points of damage, as you smash into this Sahuagin warband leader, and you can see he immediately just kind of goes, as this happens, you just hear from within the wave, "It was a setup! They knew we were coming!" And all of the Sahuagin and the just kind of sound out with a, and you see one of them has under his arm what appears to be a person that's been kind of tied up, and has like a little air bubble around his head to presumably be kept alive. But you imagine This was the kidnapped surfer from the last wave. As all of you are now in the wave and prone, I'd like you all to roll initiative. You've taken out their leader immediately going in. And I guess I'm only rolling for the regular Sahuk. Oh, we'll roll that publicly, but not with advantage. Oh, well, it's just a 3 anyway. All right, so the Sahuagin are going last. They were supposed to have the drop on you, but now they almost seem surprised by this strange attack that Tinny just threw out into the wave at them when they were unprepared for it. So in this case, as you're taking in what's happening, the first to act is actually you again, Tinny. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It's Navera first. Navera, you're prone on your board, so you're in a very awkward angle, but you're hanging in, and you see these fish people about to almost snatch you out of this wave. As it looks like they're trying to kidnap people, maybe? What do you want to do?
Can she stand up and then kick one in the face?
All right, I need you to make me an acrobatics check to try and stand up. It's not your action, just your move action, since it's hard to stand up in the middle of the wave.
Yeah.
Or athletics, whichever you're better at. I assume acrobatics. 18, yeah. You kind of get your bearings and manage to stand up on the board, and then you're gonna kick.
Can I stab instead with a dagger?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make an attack roll. 22 hits. Damage. Oof! 7 points of piercing damage. Nice. Nice dagger and stand. That was good. You stab into it, and the creature lets out this kind of gurgly, fishy noise, and kind of like sinks down into the wave a little bit. And it seems to be kind of like swimming along the side of it, kind of moving in parallel. And you see the wave is now kind of traced with some of its blood. Not quite enough to finish it off, but close. It looks pretty heavily wounded. Anything else on your turn? Bonus action?
I don't know what you can do on a bonus action, so I guess see how many there are.
If you have an offhand weapon, you could attack with that, or if you have like a spell that casts as a
she has
weapon.
another dagger.
Yeah, you can make it another dagger attack with your other hand.
Okay, stab it in the face.
It doesn't add your dexterity the second time, but
right, so how do I do that without dexterity?
You just roll the damage, and we'll just subtract.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, roll the attack.
Or you roll the attack and then the damage.
Okay.
So 16 also hits. Now roll damage, and we'll just subtract 3 from whatever you roll. 5. All right. So another 2 points of damage. You stab into it. It's just barely, not quite enough. It's looking like it's hanging on the brink. There are 3 more of them, or I'm sorry, not. There's 2 more of them aside from that one that's pretty wounded here in the wave. As we move next in initiative 2, now it is you again, Tinny. What do you want to do?
Where is the kidnapped guy? Apparently,
the kidnapped guy is kind of down the wave. One of them is kind of holding on to him, and is a little bit farther. Do you want to try and like navigate and surf your way over to him?
how far are they? I would add.
Basically, you could get to them in the round, or just in terms of distance, they're only about 10 feet ahead. But it's just kind of moving yourself up and down the wave. That's the trick if you want to be in melee. But if you're casting a spell, you could probably cast it at him now.
I have to be in melee for my character, as far as I can tell.
So yeah, if you want to guide your board over to this particular one, you can make an athletics or acrobatics check to kind of move through the wave.
All right, I'll do that. I guess athletics.
Athletics. You're guiding and kind of moving yourself around in the wave, but you're not quite able to get right up into melee with him.
I guess before, I guess as soon as we get close enough, I'll start charging this up.
All right, you get another smite on your hand, but you're unable to kind of navigate. It's hard enough just to stand on the board. You don't end up falling off with that roll, but you don't get any closer.
All right.
But you still have an action if there's something that you want to do. If you have attacks or anything like that.
Well, I don't really have anything long range at the moment.
All right, just want to ready an action if one comes up here.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, in that case, that's going to bring us to Professor Dingleheimmel. What do you want to do? There's one next to you. There's kind of one next to each of you. So Professor Dingleheimmel, you have the one next to you that has the hostage under their arm. They're swimming next to you pretty menacingly.
Well, I grip onto my board because I'm prone, and I'm going to surprise him by doing that straight up in the air over the wave.
Oh, jeez.
With the board, and I'm riding it down on the top of it.
You're gonna try and just ride the top of the wave.
And then I use the seagull to do this to the one that was next.
All right. I mean, that definitely hits. Roll damage on that to start. 4 points of lightning damage. Kind of courses through the water. You see kind of a blast of electricity spread out through the wave for a brief moment, and it seems to stun this individual for a moment, but they're still kind of swinging along with it. Now I need you to make me an acrobatics check to do this radical maneuver where you're trying to get on top of the wave. Or athletics, whichever you're better at. Oh my god! Professor Dingleheimel's now directly on top of the wave, surfing like someone who's been surfing longer than the person who's been surfing the longest, with this incredibly impressive maneuver, as we move now on to Lana.
Surfing takes scientific accuracy maneuvers!
Lana, what do you want to do?
Is there anything left for me?
Yeah, there's one right next to you. All of you had one in front of you. And then there's actually 3 still up. The one in front of where Professor Dingleheimmel was, and also the one in front of Navera.
Well, in that
And
case,
also the one in front of you.
I'm gonna throw my rage back up.
All right, you go into a surfing rage.
And take a swing at it with me.
Unfortunately, that is going to miss. You go and swing into the water. It kind of splashes to the side, but it is not gonna quite hit. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, just gonna keep at it.
All right, brings us around to the Sahuagin's turn. Finally, they were last. They're gonna make attacks. The one's going to swing back and go over and go after you, Tinny, and attack with their spear. That's a 9 against
miss.
you, Tinny. All right. They're gonna spear at you. Navera. That's a 9 also.
No, sorry, missed.
Lana, I assume a 5 doesn't hit. These
Nope.
Sahuagin are having a rough run.
Their morale is absolute garbage.
Yeah, they're having a hard time.
Navera's just dodging.
Yeah, you are getting the feel of the surfboard at this point, and you kind of step up and to the side as we move around to the top of the initiative, which is you, Navera.
Okay. Can I stab as a bonus action before I do anything else?
Actually, I'm sorry. Before that, I know that Tinny had a ready to action for when the Sahuagin came up.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's up to me right now, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm going to do the one-handed thunder of the weaponized bass drum.
All right, go ahead and now make it. Yep, you hit. Go ahead and roll damage, and you also have your extra damage from your 3. You smack into it. It's pretty heavily beat up. Actually, no, this was the one that.
The one that had hostage.
Yeah, this one got hit actually before, so yeah, that's actually enough to take it down. As the thunder explodes, another one of these things gets knocked out of the back of the wave. Professor Dingleheimmel, from your beautiful viewpoint on the stop, you just see it kind of fly backwards and splash into the sea. And then the surfer kind of splashes down in there with him, and then he just kind of puts up a hand like, "I'm okay!" As we move now in initiative to Navera. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Can you stab as a bonus action before you take a main one?
You can only use the bonus action stab when you do a main one.
Right, gotcha. Okay, stab the one stab the one next to her.
All right.
I suppose.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
attack.
Stabby.
That's a hit for sure. Roll damage. And yeah, it's enough to finish it off. As you have been kind of going into this watery duel, it swings the spear at you, and then you dodge and cut into the wave, finishing it off. It also kind of comically goes out the back of the wave. Or actually, maybe a little bit less comically, as it's a dagger and not a hammer. So there's more of a trail of blood behind as it falls out the back. Professor Dingleheimmel, you see that one fall out as well from your lovely view at the top. And that brings us next initiative to you.
Can I throw a
sorry, do you have
dagger?
anything else?
Can I throw a dagger?
Oh,
Is that
yeah,
a thing?
you absolutely can.
Okay, can I throw it at the closest one that
Yeah.
isn't a... Yeah, okay. Not sure who that would be. The one by
There's
Lana
one
or
left, and
Dingle.
it's next to Lana. Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw it at the one...
down below you, essentially.
Yeah. How do I roll for that? Is it just...
Just know
It's the same attack roll.
a same attack roll?
7, unfortunately, is not going to miss it.
No.
It flies
Yeah.
into the wave, and it kind of gets lost into the water, disappearing.
Yeah, throwing the weapon is the same as the normal attack roll. The 2060 is basically like the range.
Ah. Gotcha.
And Lana, that's you.
I'm gonna take another swing at this with my great axe.
Do you want to attack recklessly? I know you. I think you were forgetting to do that before. You can basically. Do you know what I mean?
I don't. Is it
Yeah,
on
it's one of the barbarian
Stormherald?
moves. Yeah, it's one of the barbarian core moves. You can attack with advantage, but then people have advantage against with attacks against you.
Sure.
All right, so that's a 19 in that case. Definitely go ahead and roll damage. 9 points of damage, and they're using your Storm Herald feature as well. Sword, you're kind of cutting out on me.
Yes, I'm using my Storm Aura.
Oh, okay. So it's going to make a Constitution saving throw.
I don't think Rage applies to it, though.
Neither do I, but they're going to make that
It's
save.
probably just how I had it set up.
A 17.
That's enough.
Okay, so yeah, they avoid the 1 lightning damage, and they are hanging on by a bare thread as that you swing and cut into them, leaving a mortal gash, and they are at 1 health, and the lightning courses out. It kind of moves past their head, and this Sahuagin just kind of goes, looks around a couple times, and on their turn, they are going to disengage and dive backwards out of the wave at 1 health. And you guys have successfully fended off the Sahuagin menace and presumably saved this surfer.
Can Navera send a shot after it?
Yeah, go ahead. No survivors. Go ahead. And
No, yeah. Essentially no survivors, indeed.
It'll be kind of a little bit low to 12 just hits, actually.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you finish it off. Just 1 swift bow. You see it getting ready to dive down beneath the waves and ne'er be seen again. But before it does, just a swift arrow, and there are no Sahuagin left.
No survivors.
And with that, your wave crashes in Dingleheimmel. You stylishly ride in atop the wave and wash up on shore, and the rest of you kind of surf your way on. And you are met with uproarious applause from the kind of the viewing audience who see you guys surf your way back in. And then they kind of see after the wave crashes and their view isn't blocked, they see the surfer at the back now who's fine and okay and like swing back to shore. And everyone is reassured. Yeah. And at this point, it is getting pretty close to the end of your shift here.
Well, I'd gladly bow to the others and be like, thank you, it is all science.
Tinny's just like looking for a towel.
Navera is spitting sand out of her mouth after she crashes into the beach.
Yeah, as Navira's landing is not as stylish. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, she was hanging onto that board for dear life after the wave got moving again.
Yeah, so you spitting up stand, finding towels. You all kind of recover and get back to the shoreline.
Fighting style.
That surfer kind of swims up to you guys and says, "Man, I cannot thank you enough. That was incredible. I've never seen someone catch a gnarly swell like that." He says,
The good doctor.
It's all in the aerodynamics.
"Yeah, those fish people were crazy. They said because they couldn't invade the whole land, they just wanted to make everyone just have like a terrible liberation day. What mean guys."
Well, we had the last laugh. Hee.
I guess so.
You can see Navera in the background just like proudly looking at her bow.
And with that, you guys were successful in this adventure. You see the next lifeguard kind of comes, or group of lifeguards come to relieve you of your shift, and you are free to enjoy the festivities here. You're free to enjoy the festivities here around the beach, or do whatever it is that you want to do. Go about the rest of your business. But for that, each of you earn your pay of 100 Bartholomew bucks, and you each gain 1 point of experience. Congratulations on your victory today.
Hooray for science!